I'm DFL Chairman Ken Martin, and this is the Chair's Corner. Minnesota has seen remarkable progress over the past 2 years following some of the most productive, efficient legislative sessions in recent memory. Our state is in its strongest fiscal position in more than a decade, and we have exceeded our pre-recession jobs numbers and are witnessing new economic development in nearly every region of Minnesota. Here today to talk with me about the DFL and how the DFL made great strides toward improving the lives of all Minnesotans is the Deputy Majority Leader of the State Senate, Senator Jeff Hayden. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks for having me, Mr. Chair.
Absolutely. Senator Hayden, the Minnesota DFL was proud to be a part of the Minimum Wage Coalition, something that you worked really hard on this legislative session. Thank you so much for all your work there. Can you tell me what raising the minimum wage to $9.50 an hour by 2016 will mean to Minnesota's workers and their families?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, we want to say thank you to the DFL and all of our coalition partners. It is a great day that now Minnesota will get to $9.50 over 3 years. As a matter of fact, this August we'll see a dollar raise. It'll go from $7.25 or really $6.15, federal conformity $7.25 to $8, $9, and then to $9.50. Well over 300,000 Minnesotans will see a raise with that, and 60% of that is women. So really what we're talking about at its core is women and children and their families will be able to put more dollars into their household so that they can do the great work to feed their families and to take care of their families.
And I believe of that 360,000 people that will be impacted by raising the minimum wage, 130,000 are families with children. And in addition, we know that there will be around $470 million of economic impact by raising the minimum wage each year.
Yeah, we absolutely know that the impact is that when people have more money, especially low to moderate income people, that they actually spend that money. And that's good for the growth of our state. So those folks are going to get more money in their pocket, and they're going to go out there and they're going to buy the goods and services that they need. We think that it is a great opportunity for Minnesota to continue to grow.
And I really appreciate you taking a lead on this in the legislature. I think you and I talked about this early in the session about how this is really a moral issue, that no person should have to work more than 40 hours a week and still live in poverty. And while this won't completely help, it's a giant step forward in allowing people to start working their way out of poverty.
Absolutely. We think it's a great first step. So when you start thinking about comprehensive health care that people are able to get, their wages go up. We have more prosperity to state planned over the next 10 years than we've had in the last 30. We think that this is a great opportunity for people to be self-sufficient and people to be fully participating in our society.
Well, and I know you won't talk about this because you're a little humble this way, but this minimum wage would not have happened without your leadership. And on behalf of the DFL, on behalf of working men and women, we can't say thank you enough. So thank you, Senator.
Well, I appreciate that. It was a coalition of people. I was glad to help, and I was picked to be the person to finally get it over the goal line. So I'm appreciative of that. But there was a coalition of folks inside the legislature, outside, and politically that made this happen. So thank you for your help.
You know, one of the another great legislative accomplishment this session was the Women's Economic Security Act. And can you tell us a little bit about what that would do and how that would actually help working women throughout the state of Minnesota?
Well, it provides a series of protections to make sure that women are being treated equally in the workplace. It does things that says that you can't fire a woman just because she has children. You know, there's been some studies that says that if a man has children in the workplace, that they get promoted because they're stable. But if a woman has children in the workplace, then somehow they won't be as dedicated to the job. We know that that's not true, and it's a fallacy. So we are just ecstatic about the great work that Representative Moline and Senator Pappas and others, with a lot of support, we're able to get through. We think that it really starts to get to this issue of full pay equity. We know that we're doing a lot better than other states, but we're not there. I think women make about 85 cents to every dollar that a male makes in the workplace, and we want to make sure that women are treated equally. We've seen that in the news lately, that hasn't been happening across the country, and Minnesota wants to be a leader in that again.
That's great. When I go out on the road, I talk about one of my earliest memories of my mom was when I was probably 4 years old, marching in an ERA march at the state capitol. and that was 36, 37 years ago, and here we are still grappling with issues of equality for women in the workplace. And I commend you and the DFLers in the legislature for finally trying to take some affirmative steps toward addressing that. And there's no doubt it's going to impact women and working women throughout the state. So thank you again for your leadership there.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, the first time in over a decade now, we've seen a budget surplus here in the state. As some people are just beginning to learn, we turned a $600 million deficit into a $1.2 billion surplus. We paid back our schools, and finally, we're starting to turn the corner and investing in people and communities again, much like the promise Democrats and even Republicans some 40 years ago made to the people of this state. How is this money used to benefit working families in this state?
Well, we had a property tax relief throughout the state. So for the first time in a long time, property taxes are going down on most properties in the state. We've also had a middle-class tax cut. We've done that in a number of ways. Federal conformity was one way. We also have reinstated and increased the renter's rebate. So for renters, they'll be able to get a rebate. We've done the earned income tax credit for low to moderate income folks. Those are things that are dollars that go directly in one's pocket. Those are dollars that they save. We've also invested. We've invested in our schools. We've paid them back fully. We've invested in early childhood education to ensure that our early learners are ready to go to school because they're going to be the workers of our future. We can go on, but there are just a ton of things that we've done to either put money back into hardworking middle-class people's pockets, low-income people's pockets, or to invest in folks. One of the things I'll talk about that a lot of people don't talk about is that those that are at the lowest end of our spectrum that are on our MFIP program, our public assistance program, we now have changed the law that allows them that if they're progressing well in a post-secondary option, either a trade school, a vocational school, or even college, that they have up to 4 years that they can be on the program, because we know that every certificate, degree, and diploma that they get is one step out of poverty. So I was pleased to be the chief author of that. And that primarily is low-income working women who, for whatever reason, needed to be on public assistance. So we're even investing in the folks that we don't see a lot, that we don't talk about a lot, and I'm proud of that as well.
There's so much to talk about. I think we can't cover it in the scope of this interview, obviously, but I think we have a great story to tell to the people of Minnesota. And I've always said it's amazing what happens when you elect people who care about governing. You actually get good government.
That's right.
There's no doubt that that's what's happened the last few months, and of course the last two sessions. Now, you're known at the Capitol for being just a very gregarious guy, but probably I think in the last two legislative sessions since coming into leadership, I think you've really impressed a lot of people. A lot of Capitol observers have been really impressed with your leadership. What's one of the things that you enjoy most about your new role in leadership?
Well, what I really like, I like legislating. I like people, no matter if it's the person who is the maintenance person who is helping to keep the Capitol clean, or the person who's working on the Capitol to make sure that it's retrofitted, all the way to having a conversation with the governor or other folks, are the lobbyists and advocates. Every single day I love to walk the stairs and figure out who's here and what they're doing and why the kids are there. So just the idea that we have, the opportunity to talk to Minnesotans, figure out what are the things that they need, listen to them for the great idea. I just love the opportunity to talk to people each and every day. My wife often says when I come home and I start talking to her about the session, she says, "Haven't you talked enough today?" And I typically, especially during legislative session, I just kind of wake up ready to go, and I go to bed waiting to wake up to get back to the Capitol. I think it's the best job that I've ever had, and I'm fortunate that people, have felt, compelled to continue to elect me to office. I'm very humbled by it, and I'm working hard to try to make sure that I do my part.
Well, thank you so much for everything you do, Senator Hayden. Thanks for your friendship and support of the DFL.
Absolutely.
You've been a great supporter of not only DFLers here, but throughout the state, and we really look forward to continuing to work with you to build a better Minnesota. Thank you.
Love to do it. Thank you so much. All right.
Absolutely. Again, thank you to Senator Hayden for visiting today with me and talking about how the DFL delivered for Minnesotans during the 2014 legislative session. It's a great list of things that we can talk about, and I look forward to working with Senator Hayden and others to make sure that we get that message out to the people of the state. I appreciate your support of the DFL. If you're interested in volunteering at a local or statewide level, please visit www.dfl.org. with the work of Senator Hayden and other DFL elected officials, we will continue to build a better Minnesota for all Minnesotans, not just a few. Thank you again.